Finally made it to Friday. I know ain't nobody in the live yet, but still. I always know it's gonna be somebody that come back and watch the video from the beginning, so I don't want to just be having you listeners waiting and waiting until people to get in and start talking. But to those who are here, not in the live, but watching the pre-recorded version, thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure you like this live. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But if you're watching this live, you probably subscribed. So it's been a busy week for your boy. I ain't ever been this consistent on YouTube. I guess it's easy because it's just shorts, and then it's just me posting like my favorite clips of of different interviews I love. So I mean, it's boosting my views up, boosting my subscribers. So I'm thankful for that, even though it ain't helping me get monetized. So that's cool. It ain't like I'm dependent on no YouTube check or nothing. But it would be nice to get monetized. I ain't gonna lie. Man, this week for my views, they've been doing numbers though. Can't even lie. I'm thankful for that. Like, cause since 2017, I've been posting on YouTube. Not every day, not consistent either, but I've been posting, trying to get some type of views, trying to get some type of traction going, some type of fan base going, and it never worked until December. So since December started, I've been posting every day since. Actually, I've been posting every day since November 30th. But since November, I've gotten over 200,000 views and an extra like 600 something. No, it's probably like almost 1,000 something subscribers now. Probably around 800. But it's good to see my numbers going up once. But ain't nobody in it live yet. I guess my subscribers ain't that loyal. Nah, I know people. I'm on a different time. I'm on the West Coast time, so ain't no telling what people doing on East Coast, Central, or even if they overseas. Shout out to my people that's be watching us from different countries and different continents. But really, like, what I want people to do is like tune into my podcast. I know I ain't really been. I've been taking a break. I plan on coming back doing my podcast on February. So it did took me a nice little layoff. I feel like if my podcast, it ain't about like world events, so I can't just talk about different things every day. My podcast based off my life, so I have to actually go through something if I'm gonna talk. Like, I can't just talk every day and like give you something every day. Like, it don't work like that for me. I be forgetting stuff, and then different stories they just pop up out of nowhere. So I mean, I've been going through since I took my break in September. That was the last time I posted something. September 2021. That was how many months ago? Like 4 or 5. So in the past 5 months, I've been going through a lot of different things. So hey, I'm definitely gonna have something to talk about when I start back doing my podcast. Not to mention, there's a lot of people that want to be a guest on my podcast. So I'm pretty sure I could actually stay busy just doing that. But I got other different type of things that I be having to do. So I mean, what's crazy is I actually could like stay consistent doing a podcast because I'm always at home. I always got at least 30 minutes out of my day to talk about something. But like I said, I don't never want to just talk about nothing. So that's why I always do it every day. So, but I'm realizing people don't want to hear about what I'm thinking, what I got going on. They want to see what their favorite stuff already is. I realized like posting these shorts, People don't want to say or hear me. That's why probably ain't nobody in my live right now. But still, people want to see what they already love. And I've seen that just by posting all these Nipsey Hussle clips, Joe Rogan clips, like whoever I've been posting. Like those been getting me views. But every time I post my stuff, I probably get 20 or 30 views at the most. So I'm like, this is what I should have been doing. I should have been like stealing little clips and posting them on YouTube. I mean, it ain't really stealing; it's just sharing it. That's what the internet is all about. It's about resharing. There's nothing new under the sun, so there's nothing new like people basically want to see or hear. Cause haven't you noticed every time there's something new, it gets criticized a lot. Like whether it's when Yeezy, Kanye West came out with all his new type of styles, it got criticized because it wasn't no average shoe. It wasn't like anything else. It was really something new. So, but now it's accepted. But if another shoe person come out or whatever design or whatever it is, and they do something totally brand new, like the freaking Tesla, like that's some crazy brand. I mean, new, but also that's not really new. Like that, they had Teslas in movies that was made in the '90s, like, and they was really Teslas, like driving by themselves, had the big screen in the car. So I'm like, man, all this, there's really nothing new on this planet. It's just recycled. So all I'm doing is recycling the videos that I love, the clips that I'm sharing, are the clips that inspired my life. So I'm like, man, I would rather want to inspire somebody else too, because I know they do help people comment and say, man, thank you for sharing this video, because this helped my day. It helped me throughout the day. So I'm like, I'm obviously doing the right thing. So it ain't like I'm stealing anything, because I'm, one, not monetized, and two, like, I'm not doing this for money. Like, I'm doing this to build a fan base. Doing this to build my brand up. Positive Minds Only is my brand. So any way I can bring attention to my brand, then that's what I'm gonna do. Like I already did it, the podcast way for like 3 years straight. Well, I ain't gonna say 3 years straight because I was taking a bunch of breaks throughout the time. But for, since 2018, like the way I was building my brand was through my podcast, and I did pretty well on that, but now it's time to start expanding that. So YouTube is one of those ways, and TikTok is a good way as well. So I mean, of course, Facebook, but Facebook is dealing with a bunch of family, friends, who a lot of times they don't want to support your stuff. Like, it just be like that sometimes. But yeah, whoever is in here, thank you for tuning in. Hey, people keep coming in and leaving, that's cool. But yeah, I know people be having things to do. So who wants to hear somebody talk online? I know I barely do it, but I hope I continue to help, like, inspire people through it, and just even if it's 30 seconds throughout the day, like giving them some positivity. Like that's what Positive Minds Only is about. It's not about like always being a positive person, like, because even though I strive to be like that, like you gonna always have negative stuff that come your way. It's gonna always be negative stuff that you gotta deal with. So my whole goal is to add more positivity to my life. Whether it's me thinking positive, whether it's me watching positive movie or not positive movies. I love that negative stuff. I love negative movies, movies that got a bunch of killing in it, a bunch of sex, whatever. I mean, we all love that type of stuff. That's what Earth is. So, not to go on too deep about that, but yeah, I'm glad my YouTube has finally got some life to it. Like, for real, because for the longest time, it wasn't getting no views, wasn't getting nothing. It was just like dead. And now, it's finally growing. Like, what I was trying to visualize for myself in like 2017, 2018, I was visualizing me having 100,000 some views, bunch of subscribers. It didn't happen when I thought, I mean, when I wanted it to happen. It started to happen once. uh, I figured out like, oh snaps, I gotta post other people's stuff, not my stuff. So honestly, I'm happy with the progress, even though I still got a lot growing to do. Like, but hey, I get on YouTube every day. I see different interviews, different clips that inspire me every day. So it's nothing for me to just screen record and repost it. Like it's the same as posting, sharing something on your Facebook or sharing something on your Instagram. Like most of the time, you don't come up with the meme that you share or whatever. The post that you share, you probably heard something. Like me, a lot of times when I post on my social media, is different songs, or what, well, because they always resonate. So, I mean, I realized my focus should have been on YouTube like this, like posting to just things that I was inspired by, things that I already watched. So, but everything happens when it's supposed to happen. Everything happens in its right time, whether it's bad, good, whatever. My whole goal is just to keep a positive mindset while I'm going through life, while I'm going through my ups and downs, while I'm facing different challenges. Make sure I, Kenneth, keep a positive mindset. Don't let nothing hold me back. Just keep going forward. Shit. Nipsey Hussle, as you can see, I post a lot of videos because I'm very inspired by the marathon. I'm very inspired by what Nip did. So I I want to help share, get his message out there more. Like, shit. And if it's gonna get my views up, like, man, I should have been, like I said, I should have been doing this. But I always was the type to say, nah, I don't want to post nobody else stuff. Like, that's stealing. Then I realized that's what the internet is basically is a bunch of shared content. Like, literally, it's a bunch of shared content. Different people sharing the same stuff. But I didn't know I could get, like, I would think all my videos shorts would get copyrighted and they don't. So I'm like, well, obviously what I was thinking was the wrong way of thinking. Like because don't like I said in the beginning, don't nobody just want to hear me all the time. Like they want to hear their favorite rapper talk in the interview. They want to, whatever. Not even rappers, like entrepreneurs, billionaires, millionaires. Like anybody who's successful. Like I plan on sharing that information because it can help. It helps me. So plus, it's all part of like building my positive minds only network up. I want to be able to be an outlet that brings nothing but positivity. Like the news, how the news always got some negative drama on it. Like I want to be able to bring positivity to my space, wherever space I'm in, whether it's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, I want to be able to just add positivity. I rather my light shine in a positive way, because even though I know negativity pays, drama pays, I know that, but I don't want to be manifesting that into nobody's future. Like even though I posted that Crip Mac video, that was hilarious to me though. Like when he was like fighting the dude, but he wasn't really fighting him, but he was just showing him like what goes on in their hood. So I'm like, that was funny, but it wasn't like the most positive thing. But you could take positiveness out of negativity. Like all the things that I've been through throughout my life, whether it was trauma, like those are negative things that happened to me, but I've gained something positive out of it. Like I've learned different things from what I went through in my past, bad, good. I mean, a lot of times when life is going good, you really don't learn nothing. Like it's when you fail, that's when you learn your lessons. So I do a lot of failing in life because that's helping me grow. That's helping me evolve. And me, I ain't the type of person that want to stay the same. I want to be like I want to be me. I want to live a luxurious life. I want to live the life I want. I want to be able to manifest whatever I want and like live my life how I want to live. Like so, that's my goal, and that's what I've been working towards for the past what, 4 years, almost 5 years since I learned about the law of attraction. Alright. My life has been on. I've been. At first, I was going the wrong way in life. Like I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know what my purpose was. I didn't know what my mission or why I was born. Like I didn't know none of that, and I wasn't conscious of even not knowing. I never even cared to try to figure out what my purpose was. I didn't know I had a purpose till I moved to Vegas and realized, man, I need. Well, I started setting. I learned about the law of attraction in 2017, August 2017. So that's when I started setting goals for myself. And one of my first goals was to move to Vegas, and I did that. One of the other goals was to manifest living in my brother's mansion and his guest house. I did that, and like I manifested a lot of stuff, but it wasn't everything I wanted. I mean, at the time, I'm pretty sure I manifested almost everything I wanted, but I didn't get the millions and the mansion like I wanted. So like the big stuff, I didn't manifest, but the small stuff, I was, like once I read the book The Secret, I seen the movie, I applied that information and that knowledge, and I was like truly, became a believer of like the law of attraction. I mean, I always believed it. Like it was just like information that I had on the inside that was very deep down. That once when I read the book and I seen the documentary, it reactivated it in me. So I was able to apply that every single day. So like I said, once I learned about the law of attraction, moved to Las Vegas, lived with my brother for like 8 months. He put me out, and then I'm like, man, I gotta do something. Cause I was trying to do YouTube. I'm like, man. At first when I came to Vegas, I'm like, I'm gonna get a YouTube channel. I'm gonna blow up on YouTube like my brothers. That didn't happen. So I'm like, me and my brother got into it. I'm like, man, I can't. I ain't about to be try to be no YouTuber. Cause that's what he do. So I'm not about to try to follow in his footsteps. So that's when I created Positive Minds Only, the podcast. So that was November 13th, 2018. So in 2018, man, I moved to Vegas. I created my podcast. I lost my relationship with my brother, but it was all for the good. It was all for the positive because I was a person that was like codependent. Like I had some codependent tendencies, and I was depending on my brother a lot when I moved with him. At first, and before I moved to Vegas, I wasn't dependent on nobody. But once I moved out here and I experienced what he experienced, I was just trying to basically ride his coattail. I thought like, man, shit, if I manifested this, I know I'll be able to manifest millions easily. And I thought it was gonna come through him, some form of fashion, YouTube or whatever. But it didn't work like that. So once I realized I ain't gonna be no, and one of the things that I realized I was good at was cooking. But I didn't like being camera. I've never been comfortable with being on camera. I gotta realize it's not about my. I mean, I already realized this. It's not about my flesh. It's not about what I look like. It's all about the message. So, can you close my door, thing? It's not about what I look like. It's literally only about the message. So, when you realize that, you realize, oh, there ain't no point in me being conscious about how I look on camera because we all got flaws. Nobody is perfect except my alter ego. My alter ego is Mr. Perfect. So, but that's a perfect and not on no ego type thing. That's a Mr. Perfect meaning I'm perfect at being myself. I'm perfect at. I don't want no tears in my own video. Bye bye. I love you. Close my door. When I mean Mr. Perfect, see, she already telling her siblings. Mr. Perfect, as in, I'm perfect at being Kenneth. I'm not trying to be my brother. I'm not trying to be Nipsey Hussle. I'm not trying to be nobody. I'm focused on like being a better version of myself. I'm always working toward like fixing who I am. So of course I'm gonna be Mr. Perfect when I'm only judging myself compared to myself. A lot of people say there's no such thing as being perfect, but I don't see it that way. Like I see it. If I be my best version, I'm perfect. Because we all gonna make mistakes. We all gonna fail. Like that's a part of life. That's good. You're supposed to fall. Like I said, you're supposed to fail. You're supposed to bump your head. That's the only way you're gonna learn your lessons. Okay, but you can't know. No. Go to my room. Go to my room. Thing. No. Because you're going to be talking. Bye-bye. I'm about to lock my door. No. I got to lock my door. Please don't let me bother you anymore. Okay, bye-bye. Please don't lock the door. Leave. It's okay. It's too late. But I forgot what I was saying. And that's what didn't want to happen. I didn't want to get distracted. Like, and I knew that was gonna happen if I didn't like it though. But hey, I plan on like staying on here for a little bit. Like, cause I've never stayed on YouTube live for more than like 20 minutes. That's the most. Like, I don't think I ever stayed on live. And I don't know why. Because when I do my podcast, I could talk for hours by myself. So once again, like, but that went back to like being conscious of how I looked on camera. Always thinking like, dang, people gonna look at my gap and like judge me off my gap. But that's the little kid version of me who was talked about in elementary school about some other kids who probably had other things that they felt like they ain't want to talk about. It's not in here. What about? Bye bye. When you got kids, you can get distracted easy on your journey. Boy, and I got 7. Thanks for liking. It probably was one of my kids who liked my YouTube live, but whoever that person was that liked, thank you. But I know I'll be getting sidetracked. It don't even be my fault. Like literally, my daughter is 4-year-old daughter is like she see me recording and she like, oh yeah, I want to get on camera too. I want to be in the mix too. But it ain't her time yet. Plus, this ain't for kids. This is like for adults. I mean, I ain't gonna say kids can't listen, but I'm geared toward like people around my age, 18. Well, even though I'm 31 and not ain't near 18, but still, my goal is to make sure the message that I'm sending out is those who like already got their career or their job. They already working, but they want more for themselves. My whole thing is, my message is for those that know they the one. They know they the chosen one, but they still like. How can I explain myself? Cause I always felt like I was like, I ain't gonna say a chosen one, but I always felt like I was special. But there were so many flaws I had that held me back, like having a gap as a kid. I never talked in school because I didn't want people to laugh at my gap. The whole time, my gift is to speak. So my goal is to influence and to inspire those who know they special, but they think they got some flaws. They think it's obstacles in front of them that's not letting them be great. Like so, my mission and what I've been doing for the past 3 years is just telling my story and hoping like somebody else can like Nipsey said, following in my footprints and like see better days. Like 'cause it happened for me. Like my life changed once I started reading. I mean, more books. No, once I started reading the right books, I always been a book reader. But I will always read like romance books, suspense books. James Patterson was one of my favorite authors, so he wrote a lot of um, suspense and thriller books. So, but once I started reading self-help books like Think and Grow Rich, Outwitting the Devil, those two by Napoleon Hill, The Secret, like Earl Nightingale's The Strangest Secret. Once I started reading those books, that's when my mind started to open up. That's when I started to think more positive. That's when I started to set more goals for myself. And that's when my life started to change. In 2018, I manifested a lot. I got a lot what I wanted, but it really wasn't what I wanted. Like I said, I manifested moving in my brother's guest house. I thought that's where I wanted to be. I thought I wanted to be in his videos. I thought I wanted to be YouTube famous. That's what I thought. And then when I got that, I realized I was searching for the wrong thing. Like, even though I manifested what I wanted, that ain't what I wanted. That wasn't what I came here to be. That ain't what my purpose is. That ain't what my purpose was. So once I figured that out, I'm like, dang, I gotta still be great. I still gotta figure out like what my like what can I do to get that to get myself out there. Because at the end of the day, it's all about numbers. It's all about statistics. It's all about money. I mean, I ain't gonna say it's all about money, but for me on my mission, like I'm after the money. I'm not chasing money. I'm attracting money. So, and for the longest time, I thought money was the evil. I thought money was the root of all evil. I thought money didn't grow on trees when technically it does. But that's how I grew up in my household. So, and once I got over different, hey there, hope all is well. Thank you, Tasha G. It is. Hope all is well with you as well. So, first person to comment, like it got me geeked because I ain't never had nobody on my live but my kids. But everything's going well for me, and as you can see, I'm on Facebook. I mean YouTube Live for longer than 5 minutes, 10 minutes. But yeah, like, but once I started reading the books, like different self help books. Once I started watching different YouTube videos, because all I would watch on YouTube was music videos at first. But once I started focusing my intentions on like better and more for myself and like to fit, because I knew I had a fucked up mindset. Like, so my whole goal was like I need to fix this first before I can manifest any type of money, any type of riches, success. Like I had to fix my mindset first because I come from Gary, Indiana. So I was programmed to think a certain way. Like I was programmed to be a certain type of individual coming from there because a lot of people don't make it out there. But through the blessings and the decisions I made in my life, do you have a self-help book you would recommend? Uh, Think and Grow Rich is like my number. Nope. Well, I ain't gonna say no to that, but Think and Grow Rich is a great self-help book. And then Earl Nightingale's The Stranger's Secret. That's a short one, but it's very powerful. Like, and that's the one that really I want to say changed my life. Earl Nightingale's The Stranger's Secret. But yeah, like I said, once I started reading those books, and once I made my mission to be a certain way, to be positive, to get everything that I want out of life, and not just let life come to me, not like just let life happen. Because at first I was just living my life on the Ferris wheel, just going in a circle, going to work every day, doing the same thing, repeating my life, not growing, not evolving. And once I realized I gotta get off that Ferris wheel and then go get on this roller coaster, think and grow rich. Like, let me comment it. It's my first time on here. I'm bad. I don't know how to think and grow rich. It's about Napoleon Hill. So if you type in Napoleon Hill, you probably it's gonna pop up for sure. So, and you can listen to the audiobook on YouTube. That's what I did a lot. I have a lot of books, as you can see. I got books in my background, but I also listen to a lot of audiobooks on Audible and a lot of audiobooks on YouTube because these free and they got almost any book you can think of. So I listen to a lot of stuff on YouTube. Man, in 2018, I overdosed on positivity. That's the best way I can explain it. Like, I changed everything I listened to. I stopped listening to rap for a while. I stopped listening to R&B, and I just listen. When I get in my car, I have an audio book of like a self-help book. Yep, Napoleon Hill. Like, he got a bunch of other books too. Like, so any one is a great one for me. So, and I try to read those books at least like multiple times a year. So, or listen to them multiple times a year. Like, so if it changed my life, I know it can change anybody else's life. If you and a lot of people say, "Oh, that's boring. That ain't no type of fun in that." But if you really want to fix your life, if you really want to change your life around, and then you'll want to read these type of books. Yeah, she definitely got to tighten up and change her mindset. I'm going through some changes right now. Yeah. I went through those changes in 2018, so and I was serious about changing my life. Like I ain't slack off on that at all. Now I'm back. I can listen to rap now, but I got a different mindset. People don't realize music can uh, program you to think a certain way. That's why the drill rap is so like uh, detrimental to the black people's society. Like what Chicago did in the music scene, like even though they music is, ooh, I love King Von music, but that music is terrible for like mindset wise. Cause it's gonna make the next young person from the hood wanna be like King Von. And even though he's a great rapper, like man, I understood that because I come from the same area. I understand King Von. I was just so blessed to come up in a household like I was raised by my great grandma. So even though we got to go outside, she did not let me. She did not let us do no. I mean, well, we was vice lord, so but we wasn't playing with guns. Like we didn't have beef with people and want to kill somebody. Nobody around us was getting killed. So I was blessed to come up in a time where you would fight and you would go home. Like so, but in Chicago, 30 minutes from where I grew up with, in a couple years later, those fights turned to gunshots. So like, man, like I said, I understand King Von. I understand why his music was like that because that was his lifestyle. That's the only thing he know. But at the same time, it's detrimental to the success of children and millions of kids because they don't understand that he just telling his story. He don't want you to be like that. Like he don't want you to glorify that, but at the same time, that's what he been through, and that's the only thing he know. That's what he was encouraged to do. So, and it ain't just King Von. Mo3, one of my another favorite rapper of mine. Young Dolph, another favorite rapper. But Young Dolph was talking about getting money. Nipsey Hussle was talking about getting money. But at the same time, their lifestyle, like it wasn't always the positive thing. We need to bring back the village. I mean, that's what I'm working on. The positive minds only. Like I view that as like my own personal village. Like except it's digital. It ain't we ain't got no like physical village. It ain't no cult type of thing. But at the same time, you do need a village because it takes more than one person. Like especially like if you got kids. I got 6 kids in my house that live with me. Like I have custody of all my kids except for one. So it's if I had an extra person in the household to help me raise my kids, man, I would extra 2 people. Yeah, and then I still have a son like that lives in Indiana, so I got 7 kids total, but I got 6. So, but yes, I do. I'm blessed, honestly. Like I guess when you take care of your kids, God bless you. The universe blesses you. So me like it ain't no burden to have all my kids because this was something I manifested. I didn't always have custody of my kids, or I had custody when they was first born because me and their mom were together. But once I left that relationship, I didn't take my kids with me. So for 5 to 6 years, they only live with their mom. So for me to get custody of them now, like it's a major thing for me because I grew up without no dad or no mom. So like I know like at the same time that was a positive thing that I wasn't raised by my dad and my mom because their lifestyle wasn't positive. So I was supposed to be raised by my great grandma and my grandma. So I mean life is happens the way it happens for a reason. Like everybody goes through life. We all go through our ups and downs. We all go through failures. What age range of your children? 12 through 1. So 12 through 1. And it's 7. So it's only a couple years apart where I didn't have kids. Yeah. Yeah, family union is important, but not the family you born into. Like that's what people gotta understand. It's not always about the family you born into, because those would be the most toxic. Sometimes those would be the ones that hold you back. But your family, the one that you either create for yourself within children, getting married wise, or just having friends or like people that's close to you that truly love you. Like that could be the most important family, not just blood. Because in my family, it's cutthroat. So I had to truly like have my. That's why I think I have so many kids because my real family, the family I was born into, we not that close. So and that's why it was important for me to having custody of my kids as well because I didn't. I mean, I grew up with all my siblings, but at the same time, I grew up without a mom and dad. So that made me feel a certain way sometimes, especially like my Gigi. She wasn't nice. Like she was basically raised by a slave. Her dad was damn near a slave. Like no, her dad's dad was a slave because her dad was born in like 1870. So for him to raise my Gigi and she to raise me, like I was supposed to be raised by my mom, who let us do what we wanted to do. Cause my mom is cool now, like she's super cool. If she had raised me, I'd have been, I probably been in jail. I probably cause of the lifestyle I would have went. Like that's what they was into. So my Gigi, she, boy, we thought we were slaves growing up, but no, like it all benefited me. Like in the long run, how I was raised, like it truly built me up and disciplined me to be a certain type of way. So even though I was getting my ass whooped and sometimes treated like a slave, most of the time we was always going to the nice restaurants, going out all the time, going out of town a lot, spending, going to the best hotels a lot. So it came with its balance. Even though I didn't get the name brand clothes or shoes growing up, I did get to go places my friends didn't go. Like I was able to go to Disney World at a young age, and no, none of my friends still haven't been to Disney World. So even though my Gigi and my grandma they were strict, like I rather grew up like that compared to like how some people I knew grew up, and they had mom or just mom and dad, or some of them didn't even have that. Like they had their auntie and uncle raising them. So the way I turned out was pretty well, honestly. Like so. But life is funny. I often think like, dang, if I was raised by my mom and my dad, I know my dad probably would have trained. I'm not trained me, but I would have been looking up to him. And he died in prison at 33. So like his lifestyle wasn't no positive lifestyle. So if he had to raise me, I definitely would have been going the wrong way fast. So I mean, it's cool. But I was back to my story. I definitely got sidetracked. But in 2018, like I said, I overdosed in positivity. Like I overdosed, made sure like I fixed every part of my brain or whatever it is, every part of programming. Every time I would have an epiphany about certain things, because for the longest time, I felt the way about my teeth, and I didn't consciously know I felt the way about my teeth, but like that was holding me back because I didn't want to talk. So once I got over that, and I realized like I ain't about to let nothing hold me back, because at the end I was the one who was holding myself back. It wasn't nobody. It wasn't my grandma, my Gigi. It wasn't nobody holding me back but self. So once I got out of my way, then I was able to run my marathon. Like I was able to like I was basically being trained. Did you stop smoking weed during? No, I never stopped smoking weed. Never. I probably stopped smoking weed for a day and a half, but nah. Weed has only enhanced like my life. Basically, weed is one of my weed got me through the darkest times. Honestly, if I'm being truthful with you, weed has got me through my darkest times. So yeah, I'm not. I mean, I'm probably is dependent on it because if I don't smoke weed, I can't sleep. Like, and I'm probably a little more crankier. So I may be dependent on weed, but at the same time, I try to stop smoking weed, and there wasn't no positive effect behind it. So okay, because I didn't get to see that message. Okay, because I'm like, you want to change, but I don't want to stop. Yeah, you ain't got to stop smoking. So some people will tell you, hey, you need to stop smoking, you need to stop doing this and that. I never stopped smoking. Even when I seen like positive videos on YouTube talking about stop smoking weed, I'm like, that's that person. That don't mean what work for you work for me. So self love and self preservation. So it is. Especially just knowing self, like knowing what works for you. Like That's more that's definitely important because people always got their advice on how you should live your life, and they don't even live their own advice. So one thing you do is truly don't listen to nobody else. I'm a giver, so it's hard for me to put myself first. I feel good when I give to others. That's how my wife is. Honestly, she's a giver. But I mean, and that's how I was too for the longest time. I mean, I'm still a giver. Yeah, I'm still a giver, but I don't put nobody first. You got to put yourself first. Like you got to do for yourself first, because at the end of the day, you can't pour from an empty cup. So if you steady giving, 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 and giving, and you never return, getting nothing in return, then you're gonna be drained. And you're gonna still be trying to get your last, and you'll never see nothing in return because your lesson is to stop being such a giver. I mean, it's okay to give, but it's don't always put somebody in front of you. Like, don't always like that's not positive. So, my wife texts as soon as I started talking about her and asking me for something I don't. Hold on. So okay, man, it's back working. But I forgot what we was talking about. What was I saying? Oh yeah, being a giver. Yeah, so it's okay. It's cool to be a giver, but you can't always be that giver. Like you gotta know your limits. You gotta set boundaries. When you know a person is always taking, 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 that's when you need to back up and like realize, okay, this person am I benefiting? Even though it makes me feel good to give, but is me giving to somebody? Is that taken away from like not just your happiness, but is it taken away from your plate? Because at the same time, you're feeding people what you have, and you sacrificing for other people's happiness. But is that really making you happy? Let me ask you this question: are you a giver because deep down you want to be seen like in a positive light? So you want to be known as a giver, or like is it in your heart to just give, give, give? Like it doesn't even matter. Like you can't control your giving. Like which one would you say it is? Like 'cause we all have like I realized for myself I had like hidden agendas that didn't even know were hidden agendas when I was like discovering in my journey, like going through my different times, my different phases in life. Like I realized the way I was programmed, like it wasn't always positive. So I was programmed to be what's the word? Uh, Deceitful. I was programmed to be sneaky. I was like that. But and then like over time, over 30 years, like I've developed different like habits that haven't always been for the right reason. So that's what comes with like knowing who you are and knowing yourself. Like for me, like to be able to say, yeah, I low key had hidden agendas at certain times in certain ages. It wasn't because I consciously knew what I was doing. It was just like I was like programmed to be that way. I followed a lot of people in life, so and none of them were positive individuals. I mean, I won't say that it was all negative, but a lot of people I followed in my life, like it was to my detriment. Like even though it helped in certain cases, like when you follow somebody, when you look up to somebody, when you put somebody on a pedestal, you gonna start to act like that person. You gonna start to do what that person do. You gonna start to like what that person like. You gonna start to when you want something. Here's a trick though. When you look up to somebody, you put somebody on a pedestal. When you worship somebody, they get your blessings. Like so, me when I used to be in church, I had this pastor who like we was in a small church. What are you barking for? You want to talk about that? I ain't gonna talk about that. We not gonna talk about church. But it was times when I put people on pedestals and they got the things that I wanted. They got the blessings that I was trying to get for myself. They got the things that I prayed for or I manifested. And that lasted for till well, I don't put nobody on no pedestal now. I ain't got no idol. I mean, no idols or worship nobody. But before I learned that, like, man, people was getting everything I wanted, everything. And I would always notice it too, even before I became this aware of who I am. Like I would notice when I would pray for something, the person who I was putting on the pedestal, they would get exactly what I asked for. Maybe not exactly what I asked for, but they'd get something similar to what I asked for. And I'd be like, man, what is it that they getting what I wanted? But once I realized it was because I was putting that person on the pedestal and I wasn't putting myself first. Then I stopped doing that. Like, man, J. Cole used to be one of my favorite rappers, top rappers. And then I realized I was holding him on a pedestal way higher than I held myself. Like, I was listening to his music every day. When he would start rapping in his music, I would manifest that for myself. That's when I said earlier, like, manifestation in music is very powerful. It go hand in hand. So if you listen to a certain song repeatedly, that's what's gonna play out in your life. Like, so me, I try to listen to a lot of Nipsey Hussle because he do a lot of motivating. Now I'm more listening to more Young Dolph. Sorry it happened after he passed, but that's what happened when a person died. Like they blow up more. I was lucky to be on Nipsey before he passed, but I understand when people get way more famous after they dies because they didn't put everything out.
Why did you pull it down?
I'm sorry, I was trying to pull it out. Wait, I don't know how to pull it out. Because my hands are small, I don't know how to pull it out.
See, didn't ask me that question, so like I'm let my wife answer that. Like, but I mean, for how I discern like to who to give to more. I mean, who to give to and who not to give to. Like, who benefits you. Like, when you give to certain people, do they give like do they benefit you, and do you get any type of blessing when you give to them, or is it just like you happy because you're a giver? Like, you only get satisfied because you give it. Like, but or when you give to somebody, are they draining you? Like, do they drain your energy when you give to certain people? When you're around certain people, like, because if you spoiling everybody, then I know you spoiling somebody that's really not meant to be spoiled. They're using you because you're a giver, whether that may be in a relationship, family, like co-worker or whatever. Like, yeah, they do be doing everything for family. She'd do everything for everybody, and then like won't spend a dime on herself, and I'd be like, well, why is you doing that? Like she's spend thousands on our kids, thousands on the house, like thousands. Like I'm telling you, she spend thousands, and she'll be mad that she don't spend no money on herself afterward. And I'm like, I mean, I'll be mad. She won't even be mad. But I'll be mad because like she didn't take care of herself first. And I'm like, the kids is good. Like you ain't gotta always put your like. I mean, if you're a single parent, really not. If you're a single parent, of course it's important for you to put your kids first. But when it's a two-parent household, like the kids is good. Like my wife can actually focus on herself without the kids lacking in anything. Cause I got her back. I got my kids too. I'm not just one of those dads that just in the house. No, I actually teach my kids. I'm actually in their life. Like so, for her, like I be getting on her like you always spending money, like but never do it on yourself. But when I be by myself, though, she be looking at me like, where my stuff at? Yeah, I grew up in the system, so I know how things to long for bare minimum. So I try to make myself as much as I can. Yep, so I kind of grew up in this system. Like I said, I was raised by my grandma and Gigi, but before that happened, I was in the system. I got took away from my mom and dad by the Child Protective Service after the police raided our house. So, and I was in an orphanage. Me and my brother was in an orphanage, and then we got sent to this white people foster home. And they had us for I don't know how long before my grandma came and got us, but ever since then, like I've experienced being in the system. Like even though it wasn't no negative aspect, I got the memories of being in a home where my mom or the woman who was raising me, like she was white. Like she looked nothing like I was, and I grew up. Once after I grew up, I learned that she was putting stuff on me and my brother's skin to make us look lighter. So I'm like, we went through some stuff, and I didn't even know I was being traumatized, but that's just a part of my story. Like now I'm able to relate to somebody who actually went through that, but you went through maybe longer. So I was always to be blessed to be with my siblings during those times of separation from my mom, my dad. So everything worked out for a reason. Hallelujah. Like I said, now my kids is on my life. But hey, I'm not gonna tell y'all to get off. But I be making my kids listen to Earl Nightingale. They was had to do that today. They didn't want to do it, but hey, they ain't got no choice if they gonna live in my house. So I was asking them, I said, hey, do you want to be rich or do you want to be broke? You can have a broke mindset or you can have a rich mindset. Like I said, my oldest son is 12, and so everybody else is 11 to 1. So like I made them listen to what I listen to. And of course, they was complaining, but I'm trying to teach my kids to know, like, even though your daddy gonna be rich, that don't mean you gonna be rich. Cause, and I got that from Shaq. But see now they're interrupting. Like when my kids get on the live, they're throwing me off from like actually talking to grown ups. Like, but they can tell you like I had them listen to Earl Nightingale for like some hours. But y'all can get off my live now because I don't want to get distracted by y'all commenting. And then that's throwing off the conversation for somebody who want to come listen to my live and they want to hear something. They don't want to see me just responding to my kids. So it may be messed up, but it's the truth. You can watch it after I get off live. Even though it looked good for my numbers, still. Yeah, so yep, she tried lightening our skin. So like I said, I didn't have no memory of her doing that. And even if I did, I wouldn't have known what she was doing. I probably didn't care because we was in a white neighborhood. Like everybody was white, so they probably was trying to stop some racist stuff from happening to us. So yep, it's a drive of us. But once again, kids can get you distracted. Yep, you gotta get off. All right. It was good having you on my live. Thank you for joining. But this live ain't for kids. Maybe when I get off it, they can go back and listen to it, but or watch it. Still, I want to be geared. Said in the beginning, I want to be my message to be geared towards somebody 18 and up, like somebody that's going through life, been through life, and want more for themselves. A lot of people don't want more for themselves. Kids don't even aren't even recollecting like, why do I need to want more for them? Like my kids, damn near get everything they want. So, like that's why people should be more like children. Like once a kid believes in Santa Claus, ain't no like that. That's how they always able to manifest something for Christmas. As soon as that kid stopped believing in Christmas and Santa Claus, then the presents stopped coming. So, or sometimes like if the parents got the money, they still gonna do for the kids. But a lot of time, like I remember when I stopped believing in Santa Claus, that's when I stopped getting toys. So I'm like, if I had kept believing in like this fairy tale of like Santa can give me anything I wanted, like at the same time, like that's some racist shit. Now that I think about it, like it wasn't like my black parents buying me my stuff. It was this white man who gave me everything I wanted. Like, and then that made me look up to Santa Claus. But at the same time, whatever. If that's the case, that's the case. Like, but it is what it is. I ain't gonna trip off no racist stuff or no white and black, because I know who I am at the end of the day. A lot of conscious people, if you in a conscious, some type of conscious community, them people be super racist. But hold on, I'll be back in a minute. Armani, come get your shit. Okay. Sorry to keep y'all waiting, but hey, it's alive. So, like I said, I'm trying to get my numbers of my hours up, my watch time hours up. So, the best way to do that is on live. But I forgot what I was saying. What was the last thing I was saying? We had to deal with the crack epidemic, so we were basically raising ourselves from going to the files. Yeah, I was one of them kids that grew up in the. That's how I lost my parents to the same thing. I grew up. That happened in like 1993 when I got took away from my parents. So it wasn't the 80s, but crack was still a big thing, and my parents did get impacted by that. But like I said, that happened for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. If I had been raised by some parents that was doing certain drugs, then I wouldn't turn out this way. Probably would have been a drug dealer, or I probably would have been like a robber or something else if I was living in that household seeing that. So like being raised by my Gigi, like she wanted her house always clean. Like you couldn't sit on the couch. Her couch had plastic on it. Like she didn't let you go anywhere without talking to you first. So like if you want to go outside, you had to hear her talk for at least an hour. Like so, I grew up seeing that like she owned her own house, she owned her own car. Like I said, we was always going out of town every year. So what I grew up with and what I could have grew up with is totally different. Like I kind of grew up with a rich Gigi, but I didn't know it. I thought we was poor because we grew up in the hood, but we didn't grow up in the projects. We just grew up in a city that was basically the whole city is a hood. So I mean, I had a blessed upbringing. Even though I got my ass beat a lot, but it was worth it because we were some bad kids. My grandma and Gigi had to raise 5 kids that wasn't their own. That was their daughters who didn't like raise her kids. So of course my Gigi probably was pissed because when she got us, she was had to be in her 60s. So she already raised her kids, her kid. She raised my mom too. And then she ended up raising us, and then she raised other people. So, in fact, saying her granny kept us in church. Definitely, I was in church every Sunday. I was definitely raised in church. Like that's why when I became conscious, I'm like, first I was talking down on church and religion, but I had to realize why do that when that really did church. The Bible did help me once upon a time. So, but I was raised in a church every Sunday. I don't go to church now because I'm more of an adult, and my church is what I study myself. I don't just study the Bible. I study anything that helps to fix my mindset, anything that helps me evolve, anything that helps me be a better person. Like that's what I'm gonna study. So you'll never see me in a religion. You never see me claiming nothing. I'm just a solo person on this planet that loves learning, loves growing, loves evolving, and want other people to grow too. So, and I ain't trying to get famous off this shit. I don't want no fame. I don't want to be like nobody that got fame and that changed the world. I'd rather change the world how I'm doing it on the low key. And then maybe I can live a long life. Cause I done died too many times in my past lives early at a young age. So, and then once I start talking about past lives, people start saying, "Wait, what?" Yeah, but that's one of the things I love to talk about. Like shit, I love to talk about me and what I've been through and what I learned, cause that's a part of my journey, like of learning the law of attraction. Like I got so curious to like, cause I was always one of the people like, man, I know I've been here before. I feel like I've been here before. I'm always experiencing deja vu. I'm always having these different dreams. So I'm like, once I start diving into that, like wanting to like know more and like start seeking out information and people who could tap into that, like I started to learn who I was, and like that played a big part in a lot of stuff that I went through as a kid, that I will always ask myself, why did I go through this? Like what was the point of me going through that? Why I ain't had no mom and dad? Why I grew up how I grew up? So it does. That's exactly true. Changing your homes. I mean, changing the world starts in your own home, and it starts within yourself. So, you cannot change the world by on the outside by protesting, by arguing, by debating. Like you can never change the world by doing any of those things. So, and at first, when I started, I had my awakening about this, but like this awakening, like at first I was trying to change the world by saying, "Hey, y'all should get on this. Y'all should hop on what I'm on. Y'all should learn what I'm learning. Y'all should learn about the law of attraction. Leave church." I was doing that. I was telling people that, but then I realized that wasn't the way. You can't change the world by telling people, "Hey, stop believing in what you believe in and come believe in what I believe in." And then once I learned that, I'm like, man, the way you change the world is about changing yourself. And now, like, I don't have no issue with uh, Christians, or I don't have no issues with. My issue is with religion, like just the concept of religion, like how it was manipulated. I can't say I have an issue with religion because all religions ain't bad. Like different religions ain't bad. They all have their own meanings. They all have their own followings. They all have their own beliefs. So my whole thing is, why judge anybody for what they believe in? Why care about what they believe in when I got my own beliefs? Like, and I don't want nobody to judge me off my beliefs because I believe in some out of the world shit. I don't believe in a heaven or hell. I believe when you die, you either gonna be stuck on this planet waiting to reincarnate, because that's what happens when people die. They always still here with you. That's why you able to feel certain people when when they transition, because they don't go to a heaven or hell. They still here. So me, the only reason you get stuck on this planet is because you don't have the awareness of where you can go after you die. Like you don't truly know that information. So when you do know that information, once you die, you can go wherever you want. So they will see you moving how you move and either follow suit or yeah, that's what I learned. That's what I learned. Like more people follow me, like, and it's because I don't want people to follow me. I be telling people don't follow me because if you follow somebody, you're gonna go through what they went through. And a lot of times people don't want to go through what I went through. Like they know my dog barking for no reason. But people don't want to go through truly what I went through. Like that ain't the best experience. I mean, it was a great experience just for who I am as a person in general, but at the same time, you don't want to walk in a mile in my shoes, because I know I wouldn't want to walk a mile in nobody else's shoes, like, because we all got our own personal journey, and it's built to figure out, to find out who you are, what's your purpose. So, and we don't all got the same purpose, so it ain't no point in me want. I don't want what nobody else want. I don't care about what nobody else got. I'm not focused on nobody else, and that's what comes with putting yourself first. Like, even though I love my children, only way I'm gonna take care of my children is if I put myself first and figure out like what I gotta do to handle my business. Because my kids, like, I'm never gonna not think about my kids. I'm never gonna not uh, make sure they good. So it's not no such thing as putting yourself first if you focus on yourself and your kids at the same time. Because it's like, I'm gonna hear my kids, like, they in the room. They gonna be there. So I can never truly put myself first when I know they always ask for something. And they gonna always distract me, or I'm gonna distract them. Like, so that's why I'm training my kids now to like be leaders. I'm training them now to like, don't think like the world think. Don't conform to what the world wants you to conform to. Don't just be like everybody else. So, and like, getting custody of three of my kids, they've been living with their mom for 5, 6 years, so they think a certain way, and I'm like, I gotta break that. So I'm taking care of three cousins and my nephews, so someone else's children. But ooh, so you got a lot on your plate. So teaching them to question everything is important. Yep. And I teach my, it's that's a double edged sword though, because when I be telling my 3 year old, four no, my 4 year old daughter to do stuff, I also train her to question stuff. So when I be trying to get her to do stuff, she be saying, "Why? Why I gotta do this? Why you want me to do that?" But at the same time, I want her to question stuff, but not me. Like, so, like, man, raising children, it's a lesson. Like, it's a blessing and a lesson, because I'm always studying my children. Like, I'm always trying to figure out what type of characteristic they have, what type of person they might be in life, what they gonna go towards in life. So, man, kids is a blessing, a stressing, and a lesson. But it's it's cool. Yeah, I swear, like, my daughter do that. So, but it's okay, because like I said, I'm building her to question. So when she go out into the world, she do not just taking what the information what anybody just giving her, because I wasn't raised to question. I was raised to keep my mouth closed, and that's why I excelled in life as a kid. So you get what you put out in your children. They follow what they see, not what they hear. Yep. And my 4 year old, she's the most. Man, if she hear you say something, she gonna copy exactly what you say, but she gonna tell her own story. Like, she experienced what you experienced. So, and she do this. If she sees something and she see her older brother doing karate stuff, she gonna do karate stuff. So, man, I already understand the importance of like training your kids, teaching your kids, being really in your kids' life. Because if you just let the world raise your kids, like, if you just let the teachers raise your kids, they gonna act like somebody else, and then you gonna be trying to whoop their ass to, because they act in a certain way, but it ain't on them. They're just impressionable. Like, they can't help it. They see what's in the world and they act like that. That's how we are. That's how humans are. So, like, kids is important. That's why my goal is to like put my, even though my older children are in public school, like, I was gonna start with her and like putting her in private school, because she's different. Like, I raised her right. Like, from the beginning, from the jump, since she was born, I was raising her right, because that's when I started fixing my mindset. When I had my older kids, I wasn't fit to be a dad. I wasn't fit to have children. But at the same time, I was having them. I had my first son at 19, so like, I was raising my kids wrong the whole time, and I led them astray the whole time. So now, getting custody of three of my children, and then having my other kids that I raised, like, man, it's been a journey. But to have my 4 year old Athena, the one that kept coming in here, like, she's always been learning. She always been here with me as I've been on my journey. So all the books I've listened to, like all the audio books I listened to, all the meditation videos I watched on YouTube, like she was always there soaking it all up. So I raised her right. So my other children that I had, like the three that I just got custody of, like those the ones that I gotta work on. Because when I had them, man, I was either in the military or just got out the military. So it was early 20s. Times I had money, times I was struggling, broke, poor, didn't have, got kicked out, got evicted, got a repo vehicle. Like so, when I had my three middle children, I was going through life rough, and I was just didn't have no purpose, didn't have no guidance, didn't have no goals. So once I got a little older and started, like I said, once I learned about the law of attraction, once I read the book The Secret, it was a wrap from then. Cause I'm like, man, it was like a light bulb clicked in my head, and I'm like, oh, I've been living my life on acting like this, like somebody else, like a rapper, like my brother, like the pastor. Like I've been acting like them because this what I was following this whole time. I was never following myself. I was never listening to myself. I was never putting myself first. I was always putting somebody else first. So I'm like, man, once I got over that, once I figured it, like, Kenneth, this is about you. This is your life. Do you want your movie to be about somebody else? Are you going to literally be a side character in your own movie? You don't want to be the star in your own show. So I'm like, once I had that thought, I'm like, man, I gotta do what I gotta do. I gotta live my life. I can't put nobody first now. Like and like you said, people are following now, and I'm telling y'all, don't follow me. Follow yourself because I don't want your blessings to come to me. Love yourself. Yes, I love. Bro, I really love myself. I put myself first. You know, I love my wife, my kids. I put myself first. Like I make myself happy. I don't find happiness in my partner. I love my partner, and she do bring me happiness, but that's not her job. That's my job to make myself happy. Once you realize it's in you, ain't no turning back. Everything you need is in you already. That's 100% facts. 100% true. So everybody else just gotta have that realization, and it's scary to know like it's on you. Cause when I realized it was on me, even though I knew I had it, I knew it was in me to go. I can get whatever I want. Some people, once they realize life is on you, it's not on like an outside God or somebody in the sky or whatever you believe in. It's not on that saving you. It gets scary because you're like, dang, can I do it? Because at first, when I was believing in God, or I mean, I still do believe in God. I believe in the higher power, whatever you want to call it. I believe in the universe. But once I realized it wasn't on what I thought it was on to bring me success, and I had to work and get it myself, that's when like it was like, okay, are you gonna sink or you gonna swim? Are you gonna give up or you gonna quit? Because this is the beginning of me waking up, realizing, hey, your life has been going down the wrong way because you ain't been focused. You ain't know what you want. So I felt so stupid when I realized I was living with this. Had those same thoughts too, but at the same time, when I first started realizing like that, I started confronting everybody, everything, whatever it was. I started standing up for myself. When I realized I wasn't standing up for myself, when I realized I wasn't speaking up for myself, that's when I was like, oh no, Kenneth, you're not gonna be like that. You're not gonna go through life being that type of individual. So I ain't waste no time. Like you went through a bunch of shit, being traumatized every year for like 10 years straight to something to it do. Yep, but you can't stay in that. Like, is you gonna? But you can't exactly like we said at the same time. You can't stay in the sadness. There's no way I'm gonna be able to. No, I can have the world, but I'm gonna stay in this darkness. There's no way I'm gonna just stop and say, okay, I'll just be settled for what I got. I'll be comfortable because I could have been comfortable. I could have been planted myself somewhere and sat there because I got money coming in. And like I said, I don't have to depend on YouTube for income. So, but it'd be nice to have that as income. But once I realized it was on me, like I ain't stopped. I did everything. Like once you read the right books is gonna let you know like this journey, this getting what you want, life is fail proof. Like you cannot fail in this unless you stop. I'm glad you recognize what you need to be done and put the work in for this. Yep. And everybody else got to do that too. Like, and that's what people don't be wanting to do. They don't want to put the work in. they'd rather see me have it, and then they're like, well, maybe I could just he'll be given. Maybe Kenneth would give me what I want because he's a nice guy, but at the same time, I've evolved out of that. I ain't so nice, like, cause I'll tell you no quick, and I'll have it. But at the same time, if my spirit say, don't give this time, I'm not gonna give. Like so, it's all about following your intuition. If you a giving person, the next time, like you in one of those giving moods, or somebody asks you something, listen to your intuition first. Like if your gut say don't do it, that your mind say don't do it, and you do it anyway, then you gonna start reaping. Like this is this is what your test is gonna be. The universe or God gonna send you a test where somebody don't supposed to give something to, they gonna ask you something, and you gonna want to give to them because you always been doing that. But if you give to them this time, you're gonna see like the effects of not listening. Like you're gonna bump your head and you're gonna feel like I don't know what's gonna happen. But if you do pass the test and you don't give, then you'll be able to move on to the next step. So you feel like the universe is favoring the givers this year. It's our time to shine and be happy. We gotta claim it though. I mean, like I said, I'm still a giver, but I wouldn't say my DNA. Well, I'm a humanitarian. My life path number is 9, so I'm all about giving. So you're right. It is a year for me because I know for a fact like this year's up. But at the same time, I'm very selfish as well. Like very so. I can be very selfish because I know like you're not supposed to give to everybody. You can't always give all your blessings away. Because if you keep giving what God bless you with, you keep giving that away, you're gonna be like, why should I give you anything else? You don't appreciate what I have, what I've gave you. How do you find your life path number? It's your birthday. So my birthday is March 14th, 1990. Is that equaled up to a 9? So if your birthday is whatever, like just post the date. I ain't gonna worry about how old you is, but like I said, mine's is 3 14 1990. I add all those numbers up, and if it come out to a single digit, that's my life path number. But if it come out to 11, 22, or 33, those are master numbers. So those mean different. Those are life path numbers too, but they got different meanings than a regular 1, 2, 3, or 4 or 5. So, and you could do it on your own. You could just get some paper out. And so mine would be 3 plus 1 plus 4 plus 1 plus 9 plus 9 plus 0, and then it'll equal out to two numbers, and then I add those last two numbers, and they come out to a 9. So 3, 5, 14, 21, 8 is 29, 29 plus 2, 11. So your life path number is 11. So that's a good life path number to have. Hey, we should all be proud of our age. People say 20, like when people turn a certain age, and I heard this somewhere. I didn't come up with this on my own, but they say, how could you say you, if I turned 31 this year or last year, how could I say I'm 31 years old if I've never been 31? Like, obviously, I'm 31 years new. Like, so why think of it as me getting older when this is all a new experience for me? Like, so, yeah, definitely look into your life path number. But I'm into all of that astrology, numerology, anything. I mean, anything spiritual, past lives. I'm into all of it. Just saying, happy birthday to you. I should say. I mean, my mom got a lot of birthdays then, cause she had 5 kids. So, yeah. See me, I don't get too technical about none of that, like the happy solar return. I know it's certain people who say that, and I know why they say it, but I've been like brainwashed to say happy birthday. My damn sure ain't telling my mom happy birthday on my birthday. So I just randomly clicked up. Oh, if you see my content, like it's you see me posting a lot of shorts now because that's been getting like me subscribers and getting my numbers up. But if you check my content, like the videos I posted those in the past, like, but I've always been talking about like stuff like this. What are your thoughts on Capricorns? I got a lot of Capricorn in my birth chart, so I'm like a Capricorn. Like I'm ambitious like a Capricorn. I'm very ambitious. I know what I want. That's what self. Like if you're a Capricorn, you should have some type of selfishness in you. Like I believe that. But Trayvon Moses said you randomly clicked on him. I'm gonna check your content out. Thank you for sure. But that's because I've been on this live for more than an hour. Usually I get on live and I be on for 5 minutes. I don't even let nobody see that I've been talking for a minute because ain't nobody gonna click on no 10-minute live. Like you don't. It's in you. Like they definitely helping because if somebody randomly click, then obviously it's on somebody's timeline. So thank you for commenting. Thank you for keeping this conversation going because I dang sure didn't know. I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to talk for an hour, but I ain't know. I thought I was gonna just be talking to myself for a minute. So, but yeah, most of the content, like most of what I talk about, is on my podcast. Also, like I got videos on here, but it's not a bunch. Like it's on Positive Minds Only. So if you Google Positive Minds Only, like it'll pop up. So if you got an Apple, whether you got Android, that's what I'm all about. Like and flowing, letting it flow. Like ain't nothing be forced. Like I could talk about anything. I could talk about sports. I could talk about drama. I could talk about stuff that's funny. So I need your wife to pop up next. I need her perspective. See, she don't. She's supposed to been on YouTube, but she ain't been on it. She ain't been doing it. She said she gonna start in like March. So I'm like, you should start now. But I've been telling her like she was supposed to been on my podcast. She was on the first couple of episodes when I first did it, but she stopped getting on there. So I'm like, hey, people want to hear your perspective because I took her like, man, me and my wife been through a lot, like, because I ain't always been this individual, like, literally. In 2017, like, before I learned the law of attraction, I was total opposite. I can always trust like your shirts or anything I see. What your wife and daughter at the same time. I see this page. Oh, there she go. I knew you was from like I seen your name. Your name was familiar. I just wasn't like too popular because I never really post or I never really get on live. But I do remember names. So, but I've never been on live and you commented like this. So, and if I did, like I wasn't thinking like this. Like so, because I'm always evolving. I'm always thinking something different. I'm always being like trying to, like I said, trying to grow and evolve. Like I never want to stay the same. I never want to be in the same type mindset I was last year. So, but yeah, she got some stories. Mine ain't always positive, but at the same time, like man, I'm open with my wife. I tell her everything. So how she be feeling on the inside, like I probably don't even want to be in the live, because if she do get on the live, she ain't gonna say it in front of me. Like she ain't gonna say true. She ain't gonna truly open up if I'm around. So
I don't get out. I lost it. I lost it from the base. I clicked it down.
and I've been like more motivated, honestly. Yes. I've been really being. Say earphones are connected. Is mine's connected? Can you hear me? Oh yeah, they was all asking for Lunchables. Like, uh, and then there'd be one by one. They all come back to back to back. If you can hear baby talking now, like, I mean, what I can't hear people in the background, so you probably hear them. Thank you for tuning in. It's definitely a pleasure doing this conversation with you. Kept this conversation going. Helped me talk for over an hour. I think it could go longer, but I don't know what to talk about now. Now I always could talk about something, but it's cool to just be able to be on live and like at first, cause for like the first 30 minutes it was like nobody's in here. Then my kids came in and that kind of boosted up. So I may need to tell them to come back in here and start up some more. Nah, they cool, they good. I don't need to be distracted. But for those that's tuning in, like thank you guys for tuning in. I know my family, my wife is in here, so she one of them people. But I'm definitely gonna go live soon. I don't know when. I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna try to start doing it on a more consistent basis. Cause it's nothing for me to get on here and like chop it up with y'all, especially if this helped my numbers grow. So, like I remember like trying to manifest me 100,000 views in 2017, 2018, and I didn't get my first 100,000 views till 2021. No, 2022. That's crazy. But I manifested it. It didn't come when I wanted to, but it came. But I had to be consistent though. Like I couldn't get 100,000 views the way I was posting. I would post once every 3 months, 6 months, a year. Like so, I couldn't expect to get 100,000 views posting like that. Like, and then when I started posting consistently and I was posting my clips, nobody was watching it. So when I figured out to post like clips of Nipsey interviews, like that's what started giving my page life. So I appreciate Nipsey from the other side for like shit, always putting out a dope interview, always giving out information, game, inspirational things. So man, like I'm able to help other people, like by me being helped by watching those videos. Cause and shout out to the dude Dorian, cause he played a big part in me like posting shorts. Cause I'm like, man, I'm always on social media. I always see clips, interviews, inspirational stuff. And everybody, that's all what everybody posts. Like, I mean, of course, you got people who post an original content, but how original is their content? If they doing pranks, they doing like different stuff, vlogs or different trends, they're only copying what another next person is doing. So if you doing original content and you ain't got no fan base, ain't nobody gonna watch your shit. So I had to obviously get Nipsey Hussle fans because we connect. Like it's like a collective group. If you know anything about the marathon, then obviously we fuck with each other. So that's how we here now. That's how I got life to my YouTube channel. I just posting my favorite rappers interview. And then Rick Ross, like what's crazy is I post Rick Ross clips, but I never listening to his albums. I was never a Rick Ross fan. I was a fan. I'm a fan of his game, but I never truly. I mean, I like a couple songs he put out, but overall, I was never. And because it was because I was 50 Cent fan. So when 50 Cent they started beefing, I took sides, and that's not something you should do. I didn't learn to stop doing that till I was adult. Taking sides of like rappers and shit. I'm like, man, that shit ain't got nothing to do with me. I realized that after King Von died, like I was listening to a lot of King Von music, and then I was like, dang, why I don't never listen to FBG Duck? Then I started listening to him, and then I realized it was because I would take sides of my favorite rapper. So if I liked the person's music so much and they started beefing with a rapper, I wouldn't dare listen to that. But now, like, I don't give a fuck now. Like, I'm gonna listen to both people because I want to hear both sides. So that's what rap do a lot of times is separate and divide people through music, like because don't nobody want to listen to nobody that's dissing their favorite rapper. But at the same time, that person that's dissing their favorite rapper could be the one that's in the right. But nobody wants to hear that. Like nobody wants to, like we gonna always take sides. It's like being in a kingdom. Like you gonna fight with your king. You gonna fight with like your soldiers. The soldiers gonna stick up for their king, right or wrong. Whether it's another kingdom, like it don't matter who right or wrong. It's like going to war. It don't matter if the Afghanistan's really didn't like bomb our World Trade Center, but we at war with them, and we all cheering for our side. Cause nobody wants to be the guy that's getting bombed, getting blew up. Got to worry about like bombs going off. Like I was over there for a while, so like I kind of know. I ain't gonna even say I know what they're going through. I can't even say that, but to know that I was in Afghanistan for 7 months and it's kind of have some type of experience how life was over there, like it opened up my eyes a lot. And I'm like, man, we got it good over here. We don't even know it. I ain't even really know it. Don't nobody got it good if you don't know who you are. If you don't know why you on this planet. If you ain't fulfilling your purpose. So, and that's how 95% of the world is. They just conforming to what's going on, working a regular job, paying their bills, probably going out to the bar on Saturdays, going to the music. We always repeating the same thing every day. Even those who don't got a job, even those who self-employed, we wake up and we do the same exact thing. Yes, we wake up to do the exact same thing every day. So my whole thing be like, man, I ain't trying to keep repeating my lifestyle. I'm always trying to wake up at a different time. I ain't got no alarm. Like I'm always trying to do something different throughout my day because I hate uh, repeating stuff. I hate to feel like I'm on a hamster wheel. So whether it's me taking a different route while I'm driving home or whatever, I'm never trying to keep doing the same thing, doing the same thing over and over and over. That's how you get bored. That's how life gets complacent. That's how you get content with stuff. So me, I'm always trying to try something new. I'm always doing something new. Man, I did skydiving for the first time. Well, indoor skydiving. I didn't do the real one, but I did indoor skydiving for the first time. Like I did a lot of the things in 2021 for the first time. So I'm safe to say, like even though I live my life on repeat by waking up every day and going through Monday through Sunday every day, going through 12 a.m. to 12 p.m. like or whatever, 11 p.m. like you're gonna experience the same thing every single day unless you make change, unless you start to grow, unless you pick up a different book every day, unless you learn something new every day. That's how you disrupt the concept of living your life on repeat. Is if you add to your life. If you just living your life and you just don't know where you're going, don't know why you're here, you shouldn't even be alive. Honestly, what's the point of being alive? People be wanting to live forever and they don't be doing nothing with their life. I'm like, man, what's the point? Like, y'all could be vampires, but you wouldn't accomplish nothing as a vampire. Like, people would rather be a vampire rather than whatever else. I'm like, you wouldn't accomplish shit. What's the point of you living 1,000 years if you don't do nothing? Like, so I would never want to be no vampire because I don't want to be here forever. Like I know what life is about, so what's the point of me staying here forever? When death is the next exit, that's where you're supposed to be headed towards. Especially when you're a person that ain't gonna reincarnate. Like I know this is my last time being here, so what's the point of me trying to stay here? Like I'm gonna live it out. I'm not gonna do nothing to disrupt my life. I'm not gonna put my life in jeopardy. I'm not gonna commit suicide. I'm not suicidal, but I'm not trying to stay here forever. Like if I got a choice to stay on Earth for 100 years, no. Like I don't want to be here that long. Like because I got places to go. Like I know where my mind can take me. I know that when like there's multiple. Of course, there's multiple galaxies, but I know there's multiple planets. There's different life sources out there. There are different art of like intelligences out there, extraterrestrials, whatever you want to call it. Like, and now I'm going kind of weird, but like I know that's out there. Like, so why would I want to be stuck on Earth? Earth is basically the worst place to be for me. When I know like there's more out there, like there's more to it than this 7 days a week and like 24 hours out the day. Like I'm tired of like that gets boring. Like that gets boring. That's all. But I ain't gonna bore y'all with no UFOs, extraterrestrials. Like that ain't the conversation I'm trying to have. But at the same time, like that would be coming out of my mouth. Like I don't be trying to think about what I'm gonna talk about next. This just flow out. Like so, I'm all about a person of natural flow. So whatever comes next, I usually say is what's supposed to happen because I'm not trying to just get off the live after 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Like I'm trying to add substance, but at the same time, like add longevity to it. And I know a lot of times when you want to talk long, when you want to talk about shit, it's gonna come with a lot of bullshit because people can't talk about deep shit for too long. I mean, I could talk about deep shit for hours, but the listener want to hear that. You can do the listener want to hear about what happens after death. Most people, when you start talking about death or religion, they out. Like me, like I be comfortable with just having different conversations because I'm one of those type of individuals. Like I know there's more. Just like I know there's more to like just what the government tells me, whatever. Like not to go on no government conspiracy stuff. Like because I can go that way. Oh, I could talk about Clay Thompson coming back. Like I could talk about anything. But at the same time, what do the listener want to hear? What do y'all want to talk about? Because I know I can talk. Like I know I can go. You can get some water, and I know I can keep getting disrupted by my kids. But at the same time, stay focused. Like don't let nothing distract you. And if you do get distracted, make sure you get back on focus. Like don't ever let something keep your attention, especially if it's not benefiting you. If it's not adding to you your success, your life. If it's subtracting to you, then you might want to subtract that from your life. My kids, they don't subtract from me, but they do distract me. But that's all kids, and I'm a man, so I'm gonna raise my children, and that's what everybody else should do. Like I advise fathers to try to get more in their kids' life, even if the baby mama ain't one that you can co-parent with all the time. So it'll always work out when you have a positive mindset, when you got positive intention. It may not happen when you want it to happen, but eventually everything always works out. So thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for listening. Those who stayed throughout the whole live, I appreciate you. Those who came in left, those who watched this video after the fact, like I appreciate you. Thank you. Love you guys. We out. Peace.